NASCAR's ran over 4,000 races across 76 years in its 3 nationally touring series. And of course, when your sport is based off of driving inches apart, at high rates of speed for hours on end, over the years intense rivalries that can capture headlines and lead to crashes have formed. One of the most well-known feuds in NASCAR history unfolded between 2 icons of the 2010s, each driver holding a desire to outshine and beat the other. One is an established name in the Cup Series, and the other is a young driver trying to make a name for himself, leading to a feud that would go down in NASCAR history as one of the sport's most violent and dangerous. Carl Edwards made his NASCAR debut in 2002 at the age of 22 for 7 races in the Truck Series, while also making 1 Busch Series start, getting 1 top 10, before catching the eye of NASCAR powerhouse team owner Jack Roush, who signed Edwards to run full-time in the trucks for 2003 in the 99. Edwards would excel in this opportunity, capturing the first win of his career in the 11th race of the season at Kentucky, as well as getting back-to-back wins later in the year at IRP and Nashville to end his season total at 3 wins. Edwards would finish 8th in the points in his first full year, granting him Rookie of the Year honors and another year in the 99 for 2004. Matching his win total from the year prior, he would improve on his 8th place points finish to 4th. But the biggest news for Carl Edwards in 2004 would come in August, when he got tapped to replace Jeff Burton, driving the 99 in the Cup Series for Jack Roush. Edwards would again excel, getting a top 10 in his debut, followed up by 4 more top 10s and a top 5. Once the 2004 season was over, Edwards would sign on to drive the 99 full-time in 2005 after impressing in his short stint, beginning the first full year of his successful decade-long endeavor that had just begun. On the other side of the garage for 2004, a young Brad Keselowski had just began his NASCAR career, driving for his father Bob Keselowski in the number 29 on a part-time role, getting 0 top 15s before moving to full-time for 2005, where he would only see 1 top 10, coming at the first race of the year at Daytona, which ended up being the highlight on the year, as he ended the season finishing 21st in points. Keselowski would spend 2006 bouncing from team to team, looking for any opportunity to race, only starting 13 races in NASCAR that year. But in 2007 he finally got his big break at Memphis, replacing Ted Musgrave in the 9 for Germain Racing. Keselowski capitalized on this, getting the pole and leading 62 laps, before getting wrecked by Travis Kvapil with 10 to go while racing for the lead, resulting in a 16th place finish. But he had done enough to receive a call from Dale Jr. to run his Busch car for the rest of the season, where in 16 races for the team, he collected 5 top 10s, leading to a full-time ride in 2008. Keselowski would get his first NASCAR win at Nashville, holding off Cup Series regular Clint Bowyer, and would go back to victory lane for the second and final time on the year at Bristol, again beating Bowyer in the same fashion. Rick Hendrick would see Brad Keselowski as a top prospect in 2008, and as someone who could drive the 5 full-time in 2009, giving him 2 Cup races in the Hendrick 25 at Texas and Homestead, where he would get a best finish of 19th at Texas. Ultimately, Rick Hendrick would choose the veteran Mark Martin over the rookie, and Keselowski would be sent back to the Nationwide Series for another full-time year, but not without some part-time Cup Series rides, the most important of which came at Talladega.
Vickers wants to go. Eight getting a little wider.
There he goes.
Junior.
Down. Oh, no! There's 25, up to 48. It takes out Earnhardt and Jimmy Johnson.
Talladega is NASCAR's greatest attempt at creating a casino roulette game. Due to its long straightaways, high bank turns, and NASCAR using a reduced horsepower package that keeps the cars in a tight pack, it presents an opportunity to where if you have 6 starts or 600 starts, you can come into Talladega and leave a winner. On April 26, 2009, the feud would begin due to that very reason. With 2 to go, Edwards and Keselowski would encounter each other for the first time, with Keselowski locking onto his bumper to form a tandem draft, propelling them from 7th and 8th. As the field went down the backstretch, they drove by the pack as if they weren't moving, until finally coming up on the leaders of Ryan Newman and Dale Jr. The leaders could do nothing to stop the momentum of the 2 hooked up on the outside, and once they cleared them at the white, the only thing that was standing in the way of Brad Keselowski and being a NASCAR Cup Series winner would be Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards.
I'll tell you, I don't know if they can catch him. What we've seen today, two cars get that big a lit run on them. I don't know that the 39 and the 88 can catch them.
They're in the draft of Edwards and Keselowski.
He's all over you here, just you and him.
Carl Edwards restarted 8th.
If that 09 can stay hooked to the back of that 99, it's going to be hard to get him. It's going to be close right here at the line.
Can Keselowski try to win it?
I don't know. I don't think he can step out until he waits till the last second and picks up.
He goes to the outside. Is Edwards going?
Oh, no!
He turns him.
No!
Oh, and that destroyed the front end of Newman's car.
No!
Edwards will not make it to the flag.
Oh,
Brad Keselowski won this race.
Talladega often puts drivers in unlikely scenarios, and this race was no different. Brad Keselowski got blocked once in the trial by Edwards, and when he tried to block again, Keselowski didn't budge. For Edwards, he would be sent to the catch fence in one of the most spectacular crashes in NASCAR history, and for Keselowski, he would get to celebrate his first win.
Every driver dreams of his first Sprint Cup win. But when that win comes at a venue as significant as Talladega, it is something special.
In a future twist of irony, Edwards would state this after the crash: "NASCAR puts us in this box, and we'll race this way until they kill somebody. Then they'll change it. We're very lucky nobody got seriously hurt today." After Talladega, the two drivers wouldn't have a run-in again until October, when the Nationwide Series went to Memphis. Keselowski had been spending his day in Memphis trying to wreck as many cars as he could, starting off by turning Justin Allgaier, as well as punting the 11 of Kelly Byers shortly after. The icing on the cake would be his third victim, when he would once again run into and turn Carl Edwards. After turning him in front of the field, at this point Keselowski would be up 2-0 on Edwards, and to make matters worse, it would once again be Keselowski going to victory lane after wrecking him. In 2010, Keselowski had been signed by Roger Penske to drive the number 12 full-time in the Cup Series, replacing David Stremme and leaving the Hendrick Motorsports pipeline. His first taste of full-time Cup Series action would get off to a rough start in the first 3 races, finishing 36th in the 500, 21st at Fontana, and 26th at Las Vegas. Keselowski was left with much to be desired, sitting 30th in points, and in desperate need of a good run when the series went to the 4th race of the season at Atlanta. On lap 40, the two would have their third run-in, when Edwards tried to go into a hole on the inside lane following the restart, and Keselowski showed him no mercy, barely tapping his corner panel, which would end up being enough to send him up the track and into Joey Logano, ruining both Logano and Edwards' days. The 99 would be forced to pull behind the wall to repair damages, and after his interview it seemed like he had deemed it as a racing deal, and would let it go.
His nose in there, and I guess he was racing hard. I really thought it was his fault, but that replay doesn't look like it was as malicious as I thought. But thank you to Affleck and Scotts, and we'll get back out there. But Brad never gives me any room at all, but I was trying to take a little bit there. Just real frustrated.
However, at some point over the next 2 hours in the race, Edwards had decided that 3 incidents was one too many, and he would go back on the track over 100 laps down to seek revenge on the 12 and ruin his best career run.
First oval track win. He won it in Finion 96 races ago on the road course.
And who
half
do
a
you...
second. And the 99 has turned over Brad Keselowski.
And we have a caution. My goodness.
I don't know if I'm okay.
Keselowski was on track for a 6th place finish.
Edwards, just 11 months removed from his comments about safety, decided the best course of action for retaliation would be to turn Keselowski at the fastest portion of the track, in a car with a literal wing attached to it, while going 195 miles per hour. The end result was sending Keselowski just feet away from another catch fence crash. NASCAR parked Edwards immediately after the incident, and in days Keselowski would state after the race, "At least I didn't do it intentionally when it happened. It will be interesting to see how NASCAR reacts to it. If they're going to allow people to intentionally wreck each other at tracks this fast, we will hurt someone either in the cars or in the grandstands. It's not cool to wreck someone intentionally at 195 miles per hour. NASCAR would respond to this by putting Edwards on probation for 3 races and having the two drivers meet with each other the following week at Bristol. In an interview after, Edwards would state, "We laughed, we cried. In the end, I think it's going to be good." Keselowski would follow this up and say, "Hopefully it will be productive to where we can move forward and continue to race each other hard and not have any more incidents like we did at Atlanta. You have to understand that Carl and I have a mutual respect. In a sense, we're almost the same people. We come from very similar backgrounds and drive the same way. I had a lot of respect for him before and after the accident, so hopefully that will stay the same." 4 months later, the two would cross for their final time, throwing all the words that were said at Bristol out the window. On the white flag of the Nationwide Series race at Gateway, it was Edwards and Keselowski dueling for the win again, and as they went into turn 1, Keselowski would get loose and slide up and hit Edwards, allowing them to be side by side down the back stretch. Edwards would pull ahead as they went into turn 3, but Keselowski had the dominant line, allowing him to drive in much deeper, and when they came off of turn 4 for the final time, the rules would again be reversed from Talladega.
Naked stick on the outside. Brad thought he had the best car all night. Took the inside line on the restart. This is going to be down to the wire. Oh, they touched. He spun out. Carl gets into Keselowski. Carl Edwards will win.
That's it. Checker flag. Superstar, man. You are the man. He deserves it. Good job.
I just hope Keselowski's okay here. That was a hard hit, guys. That was
Huge wreck behind you. Just slow it down.
ugly.
Slow it down. There's a big wreck here.
The crash would leave Keselowski's dad furious in an interview with ESPN.
Bob, you came up. What was your view on what happened on the final lap?
Brad got into Carl, getting out on turn 1, racing him. They bumped, they rubbed. Typical rubbing racing deal. Carl flipped out like he did at Atlanta and tried to kill the kid. I'm sick and tired of this. I'll get my own damn uniform back on and take care of this. He ain't going to kill my boy. He just overreacted so bad. If he wanted to bump Brad, it's one thing, but don't drive him through the inside guardrail. Don't put him in a grandstands at Atlanta. That's asinine.
All right, Bob Keselowski over there going over to check on his son Brad, obviously upset with what he saw in the final lap.
Edwards, just 4 months after their talk in the NASCAR hauler at Bristol, would say this in Victory Lane: "I couldn't let him take it from me. I had to do what I had to do." The next week, both Keselowski and Edwards would be placed on probation, and Edwards would apologize for the crash, but not to Keselowski, stating, "I sincerely apologize to the other guys who were caught up in that wreck, but what I'm really happy with is that NASCAR realized Brad needed to be penalized too." Keselowski surprisingly was glad to be placed on probation, stating, "It's good because now no one will expect me to go out there and retaliate against Carl. I know some of my fans may be upset about the probation, but I wouldn't say I was surprised. I think what it says is NASCAR doesn't want me to go out there and intentionally wreck Carl. That's great. I didn't want to. Now I don't have to worry about that." Edwards would be fined $25,000 for the crash, as well as 60 owner points in the Nationwide Series, and would bring an end to their destructive feud. No other feud in NASCAR history can compete with the damages and jaw-dropping crashes that were caused by this one, and the fact that it was all done in a matter of 16 months adds to the insanity of it. In the end, Carl Edwards would retire following the 2016 season, while Keselowski would win the Cup Series championship in 2012. And in an ironic twist of fate, end up becoming a key owner in the team Edwards was racing for at the time, in Roush Fenway Racing, now becoming Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. Anyways, if you liked the video, like and subscribe, obviously. Also follow my Twitter. It'll probably be on the link, who knows. It's probably on the screen right now, honestly. And I guess I'll be back for the next one.